And today I'm joined by my guest, John LoBrutto. He's the Director of Global Affiliate Partnerships.
Partnerships with Liquid Web, that's correct.
Liquid Web. John's been in this business for a lot of years, so he's the ideal person to find out how you can best succeed in your affiliate marketing. Hi, John.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you, Mike. Same here.
Let me ask you first off, what are your top 2 or 3 tips for affiliates getting started that they really need to do to be successful?
Absolutely. So we just did a presentation here at AC on 7 do's and don'ts, for affiliate marketing, and it's a very long and broad presentation. But some of the take-homes are, in my mind, really focusing in on what makes money and what kind of traffic you have, and then how to take that traffic certainly, and then match that with advertisers as a publisher. And there's a lot of different steps that are, of course, involved, and that's some of the things that we went through on our 7 do's and don'ts. Most of the take-home here is, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to one agreement, to one partnership. There are companies that have marketplaces that are just for that one company, as an example. We work with a lot of different networks. We broaden our publisher base. We're able to go to different kinds of markets as a result of having agreements with all these different particular networks. And we talked in our discussion about publishers joining networks, understanding the markets and their demographic, trying to make agreements with as many publishers and advertisers together as possible where it makes sense. And then understand what the metrics are while you're optimizing. We talked a lot about EPC, earnings per click, and how to figure that out, and not just at the advertiser level if you're a publisher, meaning that what are they doing with everybody? You need to know exactly what your EPC number is on your site with the advertisers you're working with, so then you can understand exactly the value you're getting from those clicks. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest misconception, in a sense, where somebody may put links on their site and then kind of see how it goes. And the see how it goes part is fine, but there has to be a lot of metric and data in order to support if it's going well. And we talked a lot about that in different variations. Another thing that we did talk about is trying to work with advertisers as a publisher to develop custom landing pages to give more of a warmer handoff. You're setting the table as a publisher for whatever products you're promoting. Certainly you're developing traffic to come into your website that is compatible with the links that you have going back out. And the most important thing for you to do at that point is give a warm handoff. That could be content driven, that could be promotional driven, or a combination of both. But when they get to the site, it always is helpful for the user to think, this is very ubiquitous, this is seamless. I see the logo of the company that I just was on. Now on this company I'm referred to purchase. And it makes the user feel more comfortable, and conversion rates increase as a result. So we talked a lot about those operational issues, how to get started, how to make some of the choices that you have to make to get started. And I think the other take home that I really enjoyed, this was why one of my counterparts that made this point, is you just gotta move forward. You have your plan, you have your battle plan, as they say, and then the first day you're redoing your battle plan, right? But don't hesitate to start, and if it's not costing you to acquire the traffic up front or a heavy investment, then there's no barrier to get started, because that's how you'll get the optimization data you need in order to become successful as you move on. Won't happen day one, and if it does, fantastic. Let's write a book together, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, all good stuff. And so we had a very good crowd here. I think it was a perfect conversation for the group here in the Affiliate Summit.
Awesome. Now on the other hand, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see new affiliates making?
Yeah, and that goes to working just with very limited capability. So if you decide you want to work in one particular vertical and then you align with one particular advertiser, you're and it may be a very good agreement and maybe something that is a micro model of what you do, but you're missing the marketplace. You're missing the ability to work with multiple advertisers. You're missing your ability to maximize your profits, because you may want a wider funnel to send off to, multiple options for your readers. And this gives you the capability of not only having a revenue stream from one source, but multiple sources in maybe the same vertical, or different verticals. I joked about someone who may want to sell pants, and there may be some sort of warm handoff for socks too. You may want both products, as an example, very broad, but you understand. And this is important for you to develop, because you may have things that are compatible that you never even could have dreamed that your traffic will go ahead and click off to. So I think the biggest don't for us was always, don't limit yourself. Don't limit your options with advertisers or publishers if you're an advertiser. Don't limit yourself to maybe an in-house system that you have no access to a marketplace. And also, the other don't is, don't ignore communications, right? You get newsletters from your advertisers, or if publishers communicate, read them, because this is really important. It develops a relationship. And one of the things I said at the end that I really believe is respond, give feedback. There's nothing better than getting the feedback from my publishers when I send out a newsletter. One, I know they read it, but two, they usually bring up very good points. Maybe I missed something that maybe needs further clarification, or opens up another revenue discussion that wasn't even thought of when that was conceived. So communication is key, right? That's exact. We're in a business here where it's all click-through and some sort of anonymity in a way, and we talk once a year, twice a year at these conventions sometimes, but ultimately getting that communication stream open on a regular basis can only be a benefit to the publishers or the advertisers.
Now, as the director at Liquid Web web hosting.
Yes, that is web hosting.
What do you see as far as the most success? What are the traits that the most successful affiliates have?
And that's a very good question, and we talk about this a lot, at the company. And for us, we have, excuse me, a product that is not necessarily an entry-level product. It's more in the middle of the scale of web host providers. So you have the higher end, the lower end, and we're very, very fat in the middle, if you will. And there's an education process to understand the benefits and our value proposition and our unique selling points and all of the things that make Liquid Web a very, very good product, a great product for someone to use and purchase. And there's reasons why you would want to be warmed up, if you will, with content from our publishers before clicking off to us. So my point is basically these content-driven publisher models where there's a discussion and there's value for the user, and when they get to our site, they understand why our pricing structure is the way it is, what the great features that are included, and why the support and the customer experience at Liquid Web is so great. If someone comes into our site understanding that, or at least been explained that, it makes it much easier to sell. So that's where we see the higher conversion rates from these content-driven publishers that really have a lot of value that they add to the process through the sales funnel.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Good seeing you, Mike. Same here.
John LoBrutto.